fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
War is an economy. Anybody who tells you otherwise is either in on it or stupid. Do not forget to smash the like button, comment, and subscribe to Quantumtake. A war profiteer is any country, person, or organization that benefits economically from war or conflict by selling weapons, other goods, and resources to parties at war. The United States and Russia are examples of countries who profit from war. Because the wars were not fought in the United States or Russia, but in other places like Iraq and Syria, superpower countries like the United States and Russia can gain leverage or profit economically from war or conflict using these 8 strategies.
The first strategy: suppress a conflicting ideology or spread misinformation.
If a country or territory of interest does not align with the ideology of one of the superpowers, they'll just start a propaganda war, or hack, steal your data and hold it for ransom after a cyber attack, or meddle in an election, like Russia in the 2016 and 2020 US elections. If that does not work, they will just use force, like China and Hong Kong, or like the United States aiding war efforts in Libya against Gaddafi. If we momentarily ignore Gaddafi's state-sponsored terrorism, his main mistake really was talking too much crap and having rogue ideas that did not align with the US.
The second strategy: conquering new territory and plundering natural resources.
If the propaganda machine does not work, then gear up for an enema. Conquering new territory was the main reason for wars in ancient times, but very unnecessary now. Recently, wars are mainly used to divide and not to unify. Example, in February 2014, following the 2014 Ukrainian revolution that ousted the Ukrainian president Viktor Yanukovych, Russia annexed Crimea after a military intervention by pro-Russian separatists backed by the Russian military. Now, to conquer new territory, you may have to destroy the territory first to suppress enemies during a war. Superpowers will destroy key strategic facilities and resources just to stifle their enemies. Let's say you win the war, you would need to rebuild these facilities and resources because they might have sentimental value and would help to pacify the civilian population.
The third strategy: the business of construction and reconstruction.
This is good business for countries who conquer other countries in wars, because they can rebuild morale of the country and at the same time rebuild the actual country at a profit. In Iraq, after the US steamrolled the country like a panini at Panera, the United States profited through loans they gave the new Iraqi government. These loans were financed by US banks and backed by the Pentagon to be used to pay for reconstruction. These loans went on to fund lofty contracts for reconstruction of certain key facilities and resources, which was gobbled up by European and US contractors and consultants. Example, it's like I ran into your house uninvited, burn it down. You decide you want to rebuild and I lend you the money using your whole life as collateral because I'm your only option for help. What the? Is this good, fellas? On top of that, I'm going to charge you interest out the ass while paying myself. Whoa, wait, did I say while paying myself? I meant to say while you rebuild after suffering such a terrible loss. If not, it's bang bang buddy. This is a popular mafia and sometimes US banking practice called the fuck you pay me system. Clearly, nothing is free for the overleveraged. The winning country will more than likely reap the spoils of war and turn a profit by putting the losing country in debt. Or if the winning country is a peon country but is backed by a superpower, they may also be put in debt so the superpower can control them and make them a pawn in their old school master plan to take over the world. The new puppet government of the overleveraged country will more than likely have to borrow money from the winning country to pay them for their supplies in their rebuilding efforts. The Marshall Plan, also known as the European Recovery Program, was a U.S. program providing aid to Western Europe following the devastation of World War II. It was enacted in 1948 and provided more than $15 billion in aid, which is equivalent to $133 billion in 2020. This helped to finance the rebuilding efforts in Europe.
The fourth strategy: producing and selling weapons to countries.
After you conquer and rebuild, the superpowers must now protect their investment. Producing and selling weapons like guns, aircrafts, tanks, and battleships to the same countries you just invaded and conquered is pure genius. They would need to arm themselves so they can protect themselves against other superpowers and nearby peon countries with opposing ideologies. like Iraq using US-made weapons to protect themselves against Iran. This is what you call a proxy war. However, this is a business that doesn't actually need war to happen. But just the idea of a war will make it rain. If one of the superpowers aren't sure whose side to pick or back in a conflict, why not support both sides and let them work out their conflict themselves as long as everyone is buying your guns? You can even be the referee.
That makes me chuckle.
We'll gas up, we'll pay you, and we'll drive on.
What's that? A gun. I got a gun. I got a gun. He got a gun. He got a gun. Everybody got guns.
Everybody got guns. For example, in World War II, the United States and some of their participating corporations like General Motors was allegedly able to sell goods to all countries involved, including Germany.
The fifth strategy, to test new weapons or even to use old ones before they get obsolete.
When you invested billions in new weapons and defense technology, how do you know it's any good? Remember, it's not like you can test some of those weapons where you live. That is not civilized. Let's give it to some uncivilized country with a big ego to test. Let's not forget they are already at war and they probably owe you a favor or two. The best way to test them is to put them to use in a conflict. Similarly, when you have too many weapons and somehow you need to get rid of them in a cost-efficient way, how about you just give it away for free for future leverage and call it an investment in the cause? For example, Russia allegedly helped Syria cover up the use of banned toxic munitions or chemical weapons, allegedly supplied to Syria by Russia in their most recent civil war. By the way, why do we need to say allegedly when it comes to Russia? I mean, it's Russia.
The sixth strategy, impose political and cultural influence over other countries.
Once these peasant countries are already hooked on your steady supply of weapons. Oh no, I mean behavior correction tools. Let's brainwash them. Whoops, did I say brainwash? Let's remind them who the good guys are. Winning or even threatening a war against weaker adversaries only mean making these countries your little pawns in geopolitical warfare by controlling and influencing their politics and culture without being directly involved.
The seventh strategy, to flex or show power.
Oh snap, the little prick country you just helped is feeling themselves. Let's just pop a wheelie for no reason, or hop on a horse shirtless. Or better yet, let's put on a show by doing a military parade. Let's remind them whose dick is bigger to show power to other countries. Even in recent years, countries like Russia and North Korea picked petty fights with the main goal to show other countries their might.
The eighth strategy, propping up a failing economy.
You are a superpower, but you are not perfect. You got drunk on power and balled out. Now, Mr. Big Dick Energy, you are in debt with a massive deficit. Let's do strategies 1 through 7 again, just to balance the checkbook by exploiting a weaker country. And call it, let's see, spreading democracy. Most U.S. economists believe that massive federal government spending on tanks, uniforms, bullets, and battleships used in World War II, as well as the jobs created to actually wage the war, finally put to an end the paralyzing deflationary trap that had existed since the Great Depression crash of 1929. I'm not endorsing anyone's war efforts, nor am I saying war is good. There are many reasons why war could be good for an economy. Well, if you win, that is. If not, you are fucked. Cha-ching. Do not forget to smash the like button, comment, and subscribe to Quantumtake. Thanks for watching or listening to the